hello and welcome to the Ring Post Daily Podcast. Today, you'll be listening to myself, Jesse Henrik, the RPD Prophecy Champion, Tyreyk Ramsey, and our guest today from WWA Heavyweight Champion, Lizzy Sixx. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Really good.
All right, good. Unfortunately, the Undertaker has kidnapped Johnny and Joey, so they will not be with us today. We hope they rest in peace, and perhaps we'll see them next week. So if we can just kind of get right into it, how did you kind of get into the business, and what's it like working with WWA?
They did a casting call. I was originally, I wanted to be an actress, and around here there's like little indie films that my friends were doing and stuff, but there wasn't really anything, and I seen the tryout and I was like, why not give it a shot? What's the worst that can happen? And I absolutely fell in love with it, and it's amazing.
And what's it like specifically working with WWA? We've had Ray Waddell on here. We've had Stonewall on here. We've also talked to Vanderpool. So we kind of got
Prince Vanderpool.
Yeah, we kind of got an idea of what it's like around there. But what would you say it's like with working with WWA?
We're just a giant family, like, all close. I don't know. That's literally the only place I've worked, so I don't know how other locker rooms are, but it's just, they're my friends I want to hang out with anyway, so it just makes it better that we get to all do it together.
That's awesome. All right.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how would you describe, or what was it like, or what did it mean to you, I'd say, because we working with Logan Legit, because like he said, we had talked to Prince Vanderpool, Ray Waddell, and Stonewall, and that name always seemed to come up. So what did it sort of mean to you?
Logan was one of my best friends. We didn't ever go against each other, but we teamed up for one of the battle lines. I was Team Legit. And I loved working with them. We actually both won Rookie of the Year. We tied 2019. 2019 tied for Rookie of the Year.
That's awesome. All right. So what female wrestler can you say inspired you to kind of follow into the business, into wrestling, or was there a male wrestler that kind of really inspired you?
Number one would probably be Lita and Trish. Those are my two favorites, but specifically Lita. I don't know. I always just one of my favorites. I love that she came in and did the Hurricane Ranas off the top one to anybody. It wasn't just like, so kind of makes it that a girl can then do stuff against guys and actually mean something.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's funny too is it in the WWE sort of history books, it shows that Lita and Trish had the first sort of main event, but it's actually not Lita and Trish. It's actually Lita, and then I can't remember who she was facing, and it was like The Rock as a special guest referee or something. But it was actually Lita, not Trish, that got the first main event. But WWE kind of likes to whitewash that history and like, no, we want to tell this a different way.
I know, yeah, it's crazy. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's just also crazy seeing them on TV today. They're still like, they're both Hall of Famers, but they could still go and even becoming champions at this stage in their careers.
Absolutely.
I was so excited they came back. I hadn't actually sit down and watched Raw for a while until they came back.
It's really interesting too, seeing Trish. Now she's developing this heel character. And, she was always a really good heel back in the day, but I think a lot of people are, rediscovering that because, for the longest time, Hall of Famers come in and, they're always faces because people want to cheer them because they're the Hall of Famers. We haven't seen them in years, but I think we're going to get a lot of great heel work out of Trish.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Lizzy, you've mentioned Trish and you've mentioned Lita, but who else would be in sort of your Mount Rushmore of wrestling, other than yourself, of course?
It would have to be, if I can only have four, it would be Undertaker, Lita, The Rock, and Stone Cold.
I like that.
Okay, so we're not adding Trish then?
It's like if you did like top 3 women, top 3 men, like if you split it that way, she'd be in there. But like if you can only pick 4, I'd have to go with those 4.
So Lita above Trish though. That's really cool.
And I'll always Undertaker. Everybody has Undertaker.
Yeah, everybody has Undertaker.
I got Undertaker.
When he lost WrestleMania, I quit watching wrestling complete. I was mad forever.
And now, interestingly enough, Undertaker has us today.
I know. I remember I was on I can't remember where I was. I just remember being in a hotel room, and at the time I wasn't like actively watching wrestling, but I tuned in, of course, to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania every single year just because I still liked it. But I just remember scrolling through, it said the streak had ended, and because I didn't get a chance to watch it live, and I was like, no, it didn't. I was like, no, it didn't. Then I watched that YouTube video of Brock pinning Takeoff, and same face, just like, what's going on? Yeah.
All right. So what does it mean to you to be the WWA Heavyweight Champion?
It is great. I mean, this is actually my second title run. I won it in 2019, which I started in 2018. So I was so green. I didn't know what I was doing. So none of my matches afterwards, while I had the title, I considered to be good matches. Like, I didn't think they were. This time, like, I have more experience. I think like I was ready to be put in this position, but it just feels amazing to know that I've spent all this time, working so hard, and they believe in me enough to put me in this position.
So you would say that, going from that title reign to this title reign, you've grown a lot?
Oh, so much. It's just so different now. It's so much better.
Okay, just kind of a side question. What was that younger you sort of in the business? Were you also carrying around the bat then and kind of terrorizing people and jumping off of scissor lifts and stuff, or has that sort of been a new development?
New. I've had the bat. Let's see.
Do you have a name for your bat?
I don't have a name.
Abyss has Janice, so I mean.
I think it was if there was another girl that had tried. I think she might have had one tag match before she quit, but she come out carrying the bat, and I was a heel at the time, so I killed her and stole it, and it's been mine ever since.
Okay, so a little akin to TNA, where you just kind of kill characters off when you're done with them in WWA.
I don't actually use it very often, but when I do, it gets the point across.
That's awesome.
I know. This morning I was mentioning to my family, I was like, today we're interviewing Lizzy Sixx, and just like, they're like, who's that? Well, it's this female wrestler. She's the only woman in her division, or she's in the company, and she's the champion. She's the champion. I was like, that the same way I like watching Rhea every week. Yeah, exactly. Same way I like watching Rhea every week, and her just, because I consider her the leader of the Judgment Day and everything, but I was just like, badass.
All right.
So, do you keep up with the current products as far as, just the shows, the big shows?
Pretty much the big shows. I watched the couple episodes that Trish has been on Raw, but other than that, it's the big ones. Everybody gets together and watches the Rumble and the WrestleMania. For
sure, yeah. So this is a question from our lovely Joey. He was wondering, as someone who keeps up with it, do you acknowledge the tribal chief Roman Reigns?
I mean, I think he's doing great in this run that he's on. And I do think I'm glad he beat Cody because it was so expected for Cody to win. And when he lost, like, hey, they did the opposite. I was that.
So interestingly, that's how Joey got his nickname, the Honorary Oos, because we do predictions around here. That's how Ty has become our champion of 80 days. He's fought through 4 different pay-per-view cards to earn that title. But Joey, he was the only one of us that believed in Roman at WrestleMania, and so his unbreakable faith in the bloodline earned him that title.
That's why it's like I have like 6 bloodline shirts, and I always, for the most part, go for Roman. But this one, man, I was just like, the momentum was there, the magic was in the air, and like you said, it's like I ain't even mad at the fact that Roman won because I was so once it hit the 1, 2, 3, it caught me off guard. I was like, what's going on? And so I always whatever feeling it is, I always appreciate the chills or the goosebumps that always happen when you're watching. So whether it's good, bad, it was just shock.
It got a reaction. It got the reaction, and probably too. But it's like you're gonna remember that one.
Absolutely,
for sure.
I would just like to highlight too Triple H's restraint in not doing the dusty finish at WrestleMania, because he had the absolute perfect opportunity to do the dusty finish. But anyways, so every wrestler kind of wants to leave their mark on the industry. They want to be remembered for something. So, 10, 20 years down the line after you hang up your boots, kind of what do you want your legacy to be in the industry, or even in WWA? What do you want to be remembered as?
That's a hard one.
Do you want to be labeled as the bat-wielding menace, or the lady who single-handedly took down the entire men's division?
Right now, I am the first ever female WWA champion, and no one else can ever do that. So
yep, can't take it from you.
It's still good, but I'm the first, and no one can ever take that from me. So that is like the coolest thing.
No one forgets the first ever. So that's fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like other girls to start. Like I know I have a lot of little kids that look up to me. So I hope one day, like, we get a maybe division. That would be really cool. But for now, I'm okay with being a badass that beats up on everybody.
Hey, I mean, if it works, don't break it. But yeah, no, it's so cool because I mean, I definitely can see that, especially kind of watching some of the clips and things that we are able to see, because obviously we're not local to you, but we can see little bits here and there on Facebook and on YouTube and such, and just seeing the crowd reactions to you, especially what you were doing with that scissor lift, like the amount of eyes and mouths open, they're like, oh my god.
I'm scared of heights. Just standing up there, I was shaking. It was so scary, but it was cool. It was my first table bump. I did it big.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's funny because I used to work at a job that had me using those daily, so I know what it's like looking down from there. I'm like, oh god, she's got to be scared as hell.
Oh my god, it was terrible. I just went. I don't know. I didn't die, so we're all good.
And it's funny too, because when we reached out to you, I didn't realize, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that was you, because I had never seen your wrestling profile. I had just I seen you commenting on things. I'm like, wait a minute, she's with WWA. Let's reach out to her. And then talking to Ray Waddell, he's like, yeah, those 2 are the same person. And I'm like, really?
I gimmick profile to begin with, so that people wouldn't really know my real name. Because I have so many friends. It didn't matter, and then I lost my password. So there's a gimmick one somewhere. I just can't log into it anymore. So.
All right, Joey.
So
Ty, I should say.
Yep, that kind of led into our our next question. So what's like the biggest spot you'd say you've been a part of, or have taken, or even possibly delivered? You mentioned the what did you say again? You said this. She jumped off the.
It was a scissor lift.
Yes, yes.
That's probably the biggest thing I've done so far.
Really?
For that, my biggest thing was I moonsault to the outside. That was the biggest thing I did. But the scissor lift kind of put it on top. I did a rock bottom last weekend off the apron through a table in my casket match. So that was really scary too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I could never ever do that. It's like, it's like I'm not afraid. I know maybe I have a little fear of heights because I just remember I went to Tokyo in high school, and we were in Tokyo Tower, or I think it was a Skytree, because the Skytree is much higher, but if you hold on the rail, you could just feel the building swaying, and it's just like, and you're that high in the air. I'm just like, I don't like that at all. But so doing a spot like that, I'd attempt it, but I wouldn't like the fact that I attempted it.
That's definitely the craziest thing so far.
All right. Since we're kind of playing with house money, I'm gonna, because we got some time, I'd like to ask, do you kind of have a story about working with WWA that you'd like to share with us? I know this isn't something we kind of prepped you for, but I mean, if we got time, is there anything you kind of want to get off your chest, or something you want to plug, or what have you?
The best story I have for being traveling with people is we stopped at a gas station. It was me and I think Alexander Knight, and he came in. I was checking out, and he threw a punch, and I instinctively sold it, but the little old lady at the register, he come and just freaking decked me.
Man.
Lady's face, I will never forget it, and I was like, oh no, and I was like, we're just playing. It was funny.
Oh my god,
the funniest things that ever happened.
I can only imagine trying to explain, professional wrestling, like a shoot fight, to this little old lady.
But
oh no, that's terrible.
We would go out to eat after the shows, and we were at B-Dubs one day, and there was like 10 of us outside just chopping the crap out of each other. I'm surprised they didn't call the cops on us sometimes.
That's amazing.
That's great funny.
What's your favorite?
That's what I do like about or you gonna ask a question?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I love about how you said WWA feels like a family. Like, I do notice that. It's like to be honest, with all the people we've interviewed and the different indie companies we work with, WWA, the guest and them providing the stories and everything, have been my favorite. Like, I remember Stonewall was cool, Prince Vanderpool was cool, same with Ray, and this interview's been going great as well. It's just, and like I said, you guys be having the best stories.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we try.
So if you're all a family, after the show, kind of what's you guys' favorite place to gather after a show to just kind of decompress, get a meal? What's the go-to?
It's usually Huddle House. Huddle House in Central.
Okay, all right.
We have different places in each town, but that Huddle House is for two, so we go there the most.
Hashtag not spawn. Yeah, I always like asking people that if I get a chance, just because I'm always expecting somebody to say Waffle House. Just because of the memes.
Like, it's not that it's a great place to eat, and the service at that time of night is usually horrible, but there's like 20 to 30 of us in there just having a good time together, so it makes it worth it.
That's awesome. All right, so getting back to our scheduled programming, so to speak, what's your favorite wrestling match? And in your opinion, what makes a good wrestling match?
Oh. Huh. Well, one that tells the story. You gotta something that gets you invested. I don't really have a favorite match. The one with Trish and Lita where she scorpioned real bad. I remember that one being a really good one.
Okay.
I've never really thought of it.
So kind of. Go ahead, Joey or Ty.
This is usually we do like yeah. But it's crazy we ask this question because a lot of times you mentioned storytelling, but when people answer the question, sometimes it's based off that, or sometimes it's based off I don't know, number of spots, but I feel like there's different things that go into having a great match, and so with the different answers we get, usually it's one thing leads before any of the other qualities, and I'd say the storytelling for the most part
Absolutely.
be the one that leads.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the common denominator through everything. And I mean, at the end of the day, professional wrestling is a soap opera. You are telling a story. So that's really cool that a lot of people realize that, and they're kind of self-aware of it.
For sure, I enjoy that too. It's like even something as simple as one guy's working through an injury, the other guy's just targeting that leg and just fighting through, like that type of storytelling, is like coming back, and then maybe the injured guy gets the win in the end, or maybe he doesn't. But just following along with that as well is what I also like about pro wrestling.
Or if you're Cody Rhodes, your boob just falls off.
I know, that was crazy.
All right, Ty.
Yep. So our final question is going to be, what advice would you give someone who's gonna be in the pro wrestling industry or new to the pro wrestling industry?
My advice would be just to go for it, because my thing was I just didn't think it was a possibility. But like you don't have to travel. Like there's places around where you live. Like just go for it. Just give it a try. That would be my biggest advice. Just
it's so interesting you bring that up, because that's sort of our kind of mission statement with this podcast is we're trying to make it for people who who are interested in the industry, who don't really know kind of how to get into it or what have you, because DDP said it best. Professional wrestling is kind of a secret society. Unless you know somebody or unless you're born into it, you really don't know how to get in. Like you said with your example, you didn't even know that there was a promotion right by you, an indie promotion. I didn't know until I started this podcast. I didn't know I had like 3 indie promotions that are within like a 30-mile radius of me. So I mean, it is kind of a secret society, and it's we'd like to bring some light to it.
For sure, just be like, that's what I love too. It's like every fan who's like in it, almost like or whether you're a fan or a performer or just somehow tied to it, everybody tries to give back almost and like push the industry. I'd say it's like fans will buy the t-shirts, they'll show up at the tickets, be loud in the crowds just to support the overall kind of deal, because like you said, it does feel like a secret society. You get like you can know between, like, if you meet someone new, if they know wrestling or not, or know pro wrestling, just based on the way they're speaking.
All right. So where can people kind of find you outside of the ring, so to speak? Are you on any socials? Is there anything for WWA that's coming up that you'd like to let our viewers know about?
Yeah, I do have a TikTok. Lizzy Sixx, because I've made so many accidentally that's the number I've got up to. So there's 5 other ones.
All right.
This Saturday in Evansville is Pandemonium. It's a completely free show. So it would be a great show for anybody that's never been and just wants to check it out. This would be the perfect time. It doesn't cost anything. We have a free meet and greet beforehand, so you can come and hang out with all of us. It's going to be a really...
All right. That's awesome. Joey is local to that area. So I don't know, maybe if we can get him back from the Undertaker, maybe he'll come out there and give us some representation. Maybe we can get a couple exclusives with you guys. We'd love to, have you.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. We'll be there talking to everybody.
All right.
I do want to start watching WWE for sure. It's just like, now that I know a number of the talents, it's like, yes, get to
absolutely
get into it.
And we will have your TikTok link. Are you on Twitter? Obviously, we'll link your Facebook. The wrestling Facebook. No Twitter.
Yeah, I don't have Twitter.
Okay, all right.
So TikTok about it. That was me moving up in the social media game.
Well, we unfortunately have to be a part of it. So anyhow, we will have all the links where you guys can find Lizzy as well as WWA down in the description below. Any parting thoughts?
I really wish I had something really cool to end with, but I got nothing.
All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, ma'am. And for any of our listeners, I hope you have a wonderful day as well. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.